Hey mates, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and we are finally at Omega Prime. Yes, it has been over a week of us doing these videos, but we are there. We are here today to review Transformers, Haslab, Robots in Disguise, Omega Prime, which is the combination of Haslab Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime and Haslab Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus. And of course, I'm talking about 2001 Robots in Disguise, not that 2015 stuff. No siree. So, join me today as we discuss this amazing Transformer from top to bottom and talk about it from the blind perspective and give you my full blind reaction to this really fun figure. And at the end of the video, I'll give you the grade for Omega Prime. And then afterwards, we'll make one more video where we talk about Blue Bolts, because I've totally been slipping up on talking about Blue Bolts. And after that, we'll do the final video for this Haslab project, my overall thoughts and feelings after it all. So you got the first impressions video, and we'll end with the last impressions video. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey of the Haslab project. Please go below, hit the like button, share with everybody on the Reddits, on the Facebook, everything. Just share it. Yeah. Flood the social medias with my video. So I've got a few Haslab projects around here in front of me so that we can compare Haslab projects together, because this is like the final deal. This is what you got it for. This is what it's called. It's named after Omega Prime. This wasn't the Haslab Optimus Prime with Ultra Magnus. This was the Haslab Omega Prime. So we will be comparing him to Victory Saber and Deathsaurus, and giving you kind of just the general idea of how does this figure, how does he hold up, and was he worth it? So let's slide the Haslab projects off to the side for now, so that we can really focus on Omega Prime first, and then we can get into them. And I also have a Titan to talk about with this Haslab project. So there we go. These guys are off to the side. It seems everything's a little crowded over here on the table today. But that's just because these flight stands do get kind of big. Okay, and slide him over there. Slide you there. Let's put Deathsaurus over here on this side. Yeah, you can go on the left side. You can go on the sinister side of everything, Deathsaurus. Yeah. All right. So, first off, to start this video off with, I have Omega Prime on his flight stand, like I have everybody else on their flight stands. So we're going to take him off the flight stand to begin this video. So to do that, you just reach to the back area, you go to this groin, and unlike Ultra Magnus, he's got a normal type of connection here, where you just wiggle him off of that connection. We can just set the flight stand off to the side now. Now, let's go ahead and make sure, because in order for him to fit on the flight stand, we had to bend him a bit. His legs had to bend. So just got to bend these legs back to normal. There's one. And there it goes. That should get it. Yeah. Oh, your knee's bent. Your knee is bent. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. He's a big, heavy guy. He is heavy. But he works. It works out pretty good. I think this is... There it is. All right. So let's get the handy-dandy Lego pad out to give you an idea of how this guy stands up compared to other things, because he is taller than Super Mode Prime. So 32 studs will take you to his collarbone. And then on top of his body here, we've got, there it goes, so collarbone to top of head. We'll count the top of the smokestacks, because why not? And that is, let's see, that's 4, 5. He's 5 studs tall in addition to the 32. That gives us a wonderful 37. 37 studs. Ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. Not bad at all. Weight-wise, decently weighted. Balance-wise, decently balanced. This guy has got it on the balance scale. Now, He was a difficult character to get into this shape, but once you're here, it's pretty nice. There's multiple siege pegs and ports to place these guns that came with Ultra Magnus in many different places, though sadly, they don't fit in all the right, they don't fit in all the places because of how they're designed. I do wish that there was less hollowness on the inside of them, less waffling there, so that we could get a few more, a few better places for them to go. But we can, for the sake of this video, we're just going to take these guys off on either side. There we go. Move these guys, set them up here off to the side. Do we have blue bolts right here? We do. So here is our friend, Mr. Blue Bolts, with his crazy awesome guns. I like Blue Bolts' hands. I do like those arm guns. So Blue Bolt stands up to this Omega Prime, all the way up to this, just below the edge of the tire that's on his knee. And of course, we're going to give Blue Bolts his own video tomorrow, where we'll really talk about him and all the things he becomes. But we've been, talking about him off and on for the entirety of this series. So he gets laid down, and so let's talk about this figure from top to bottom. Go over his articulation and stuff, and then we'll go into the size comparison afterwards. So head-wise, his head is on a ball joint, so he can crack left and right. He can look up a little bit, he can look down a little bit, and of course he can pull an exorcist and spin 360. Arm-wise, I do like how everything's working here. I thought maybe I wouldn't like it because this arm pauldron's not really connected to the arm. It's just kind of connected to the neck area. But after playing with it for a bit and having him in this form for a while, I realized that this is actually the best way. It does allow for the most movement, even though you can't get as far upward of a movement as you could with the Super Mode Optimus Prime. The Super Mode Optimus Prime has a better... he can raise his arms all the way up to the sky. Sadly, this mode, Optimus Prime, Omega Prime, can't do that. Though, and he can't rotate his arms at 360 like Super Mode Optimus Prime can. Because of this, the way the pauldron works. So he can get up to a little more than a 90 on the front area. I'd say that's about 100 degrees on the rotation for the arm. And then on the back, he can pull a little more than a 90, probably about, I'd say about 100 degrees on that one too. Just a little, but not by very much. Now sideways is, just more than a 90, and it's got that fun ratchet in the shoulder. I like that he's actually got two shoulder joints in there. One allows for movement up and down, but it's on a softer ratchet. It's not on a ratchet, it's just a smooth joint. And then the other one's actually a ratcheted joint, so it can sit up there, but it can also just kind of rest there. Nice. It's a pretty good joint. The joints really haven't changed much other than that. We've got a little more than a 90 on the elbow. We've got the upper arm rotation at the bicep. We come down here. The hand does have more articulation than the Super Mode Optimus Prime. We've got fingers that have two joints in them, so you can bend it all the way backwards if you wanted, but I think that's kind of neat. I wish that the thumb could rotate, but instead the thumb's on its own little joint, and it can just switch back and forth. That's about it the thumb does. No. Kind of wishing the thumb could do a little more, but it's okay. We just live with it. So that's his hand. It also can swivel 360 degrees. Decent hand. Now, does he have waist rotation? Yes. Yes, he does. He's got decent waist rotation. It's not bad. I like it. His legs are the same as with Super Mode Optimus Prime. There's not much changed here, though I think... No, he can still pull a 90 with those knees. The ratcheted joints really do help when you get him into this mode. Now, we come down further, so we come down here to the bottom, and he's got ankle tilt in both directions for his feet. But that's it for articulation and stuff. Now, the way this figure feels in the hand, he feels big. He feels chunky. I like how wide his legs are here. I like how big around they end up getting. Though I do wish there was a bit more with the thighs. His lower legs are just kind of huge, and then his thighs are so small. So small. But we get Really well sculpted out toe features here. This foot is really, really well done. I like the feet a lot for Omega Prime here. I really do like his feet. Now we come up here. The ramp becoming the lower part of the leg was really well done. I do enjoy the way that feels. The texture wise does allow for a nice kind of smooth transition from this such a wide base and very long foot, and it transitions and tapers down to the thigh. So it's not just a flat plane coming from the top of the lower foot to the thigh. We actually have a lot of tapering that occurs, and that does really help with this figure. It helps it makes it feel a lot better. Though they didn't really accomplish that so much on the back. So on the back of the legs, there is a shelf behind the knees. But the front, they did manage to hide that with a very good tapering job. Now, the side of the leg here has all this scaffolding that was folded up from Ultra Magnus, and we have one, and there's the other one too, and we should have at least, so that's one and two, and then there's at least one port in the side over here somewhere. I keep forgetting where it's at. It likes to hide. It likes to hide amongst all this stuff because there's just a lot here. There's a lot of textures here. Oh well, trust me whenever I say there is one hiding in here. I just can't remember exactly where. But the textures on the side of this are glorious. It is amazing how they managed to put all of these little things in there. There's this wonderful bent steel pattern on this area. It's like these two bits were just kind of bent down by the stuff on either side of them. We've got the only thing these panels are missing is rivets. That's the only thing that seems to be missing from this, and I think that would have definitely etched up its oomph if they had managed to put all the rivets in it, like with that his tank. Oh, I still love the sheer amount of rivets on that his tank. Now, these legs are exceptional when it comes to the feel and the way that the combination uh, kind of blends. The way these legs manage to blend the Ultra Magnus pieces in the Optimus Prime pieces, very, very well done, in my opinion. That so much better than our friend Victory Saber, whose Victory Leo legs are just stilts on the bottoms of his feet. This doesn't feel like that. This this doesn't feel like that at all. This feels like a legitimate upgrade. It doesn't feel like you're putting on platform shoes. Now, up here at the core of the body, we're going to lift up these panels here at the front so that you can take a look underneath them, because we got all of this stuff here. Let's see if we can get these panels up. There it goes. So we're just going to hold them up with one hand as we talk about this stuff underneath them, because this is stuff that's kind of hidden by the front of the semi-truck mode and the little panel bit. This is some good stuff in here. We got these wonderful little textures. We sadly, it doesn't have another one of those little flip-up panels for the Matrix. I think it would be fun if they managed to put another one of those panels in here for the Matrix, because Omega Prime would have it. And it feels like that should have been the spot. There's this big square in the center that feels like it should have been the Matrix. Like it should have been etched out to be the Matrix, just kind of sitting there because it's under all this armor. But we get this little panel that's folded down to as a skirt, and it's got some really fun textures on it on either side. It feels very, well, Robots in Disguise 2001 like. There's no real way to describe that show except to just describe it by itself. It definitely is a unique experience watching that show. But that's what's inside here. And there is another layer of armor hidden underneath that layer of armor that's underneath the front faceplate of the semi-truck. But it's not really much. We've got pieces of plastic here. This is actually a connection port there. That's the slides that the legs for Ultra Magnus fit into. And then down here we have the chest plate for Ultra Magnus. And it's very interesting that this is actually the piece that holds the Omega Prime together by connecting to the front of Optimus Prime, because that piece is what holds Ultra Magnus together. That's the leg section. That's where they connect, and this is the front of the body. If you bend it up a little bit, you can reach under there and feel the little rectangular peg hole for his head. And I just think that's wild that it's just right there. And then this folds over, but doesn't hide it completely. We get edges sticking out, and I think that's really cool. It does give it a nice layered approach. Does it need this many layers of armor? I don't think so. But does it feel nice? Is it cool? Yeah, and I think maybe the layered aspect looks nice too. And then you can close up this front body armor bits on top of it, which kind of act as a breastplate and breastplate skirt thing that's on top of chainmail or something akin to that. It works well as layered armor, in my opinion. It does. And I like the feel of the front of Ultra Magnus's vehicle mode. It is it's awesome. Ultra Magnus has an amazing vehicle mode for robots in disguise. That is my favorite Ultra Magnus vehicle mode. And I think that's why I had so many problems with Siege Ultra Magnus, because it was close to this vehicle mode, but it wasn't quite. And it just kind of irritated me. But up here around his head, we've got these amazing little panels that fold out and they fold down to make up these really cool shoulder pauldrons. I like the wheels acting as the very edges of the shoulder pauldrons. It's very fun. And then this head, where the Super Mode Optimus Prime's head seems like it's a mask that's split in half. This one feels like it is a complete, change to the face, as it is two faces blended together, and we've got this kind of a thin shape to the front of the mouth area, and then it widens up here for the part that goes over the eyes, and it kind of makes it feel like this is a helmet that has the eye cut out around it, and then there's these deep set eyes under the helmet that are part of this face that's below it. It comes together nicely, and it does feel really, really unique. There's the thing that gets me the most about it is the sharpness of this chin, though. That is a brutal chin, and it comes down so sharply, but it's part of this face mask. It works. It works as a really unique head sculpt for Optimus Prime. This Omega Prime is one of those head sculpts that's just wild and definitely reminiscent of 2001. They did a good job making this the character from Robots in Disguise 2001. I don't remember much about that character, but what I do remember about that character, this one's managed to get it. Now, we're not talking about the sword today because I had to do an entire video because I ended up ranting about the sword so much. I was like, okay, you're your own video now. So check out that video on the sword. Now let's do the part of the video that everyone enjoys. And before we get to that part, I will have to state this guy's grade. Now, is this the S-rank Transformer that I want it to be? No, it isn't. Is it close to the S-rank Transformer that I want it to be? Yes. Is it an A plus? Yeah, I give it the A plus ranking. I do give it the A plus ranking. I think this deserves it. But there's parts of that the combination aspect to get him into this form is brutal, in my opinion. And that does make for least enjoyable aspects about him. But for the most part, I think that he is an A plus. He holds up very well, and it's definitely is it worth the money I paid for? I think so. I think so. And that's why he's getting the A plus. Like, I think there's ways they could have improved it slightly, but they're not very much, and it's all nitpicks, and it's as close. I think, if you were to consider an S ranking to be from 100 and above, then this is an exact 100. Like, they managed to do it, but is it a 101? No, it didn't knock it above and beyond, in my opinion, but it got it there. So an A plus for sure. So let's get to the parts of this that I am excited to bring you, which is the comparing him to some of these Transformers we've gotten in the past. And first and foremost, let's bring out Victory Saber, because Victory Saber's one of those Transformers that he's kind of grown on me, and I do think he's kind of a cool transformer. I I don't like how how simple his transformation is, but I do like how this thing feels, and that's probably because I have always been a fan of Gundam, and he is the most Gundam-like robot that we get. He is the most Gundam Prime out there. He even has gun cannons, gun cannons. Okay, that's how Gundam-like he is. So we're gonna set him in the front, just to kind of give him a what are you standing on, Nate? All right, set him there. There we go. Now let's see if we put them close together, and here we go. Now let's see. They stand about the same height. Whenever, yeah, no, that's a little wild. They are actually about the same height. Now, pick your guns up. Let's see. Do their collarbones match? Yeah, their collarbones are on the same scale too. These guys, when Star Saber is in Victory Saber mode, him and Omega Prime stand very well next to each other. They do. Look at that. Their shoulders are about on the same levels too. That's fun. Oh crap! I'm knocking the wings. I forgot about how wide these wings are for you. You've got some wide old wings. Yes, you do. Lower your arms down over there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so very, very similar to each other in size. I think weight wise, let's see. Ah, close, but Omega Prime still has him on weight. Victory Saber here is close, but not quite there. Um, do I think that Victory Saber's flight stand is one of the better ones out there because it has that etched in Autobot symbol that I love. So we're gonna set this back up over here and set you back in place. Come on now. All right, we gotta bend your legs just a bit because your platform shoes don't quite fit on the stand. Not quite tall enough for those. There we go. All right, so that is Victory Saber. Now let's pull out our good old friend Skyfire, which we've been bringing around a lot to just kind of give us some wonderful little size comparisons. And look at that. They are the same height. That's nice. Yeah, the same height. Actually, nope, same height. Where Super Mode Optimus was actually shorter than Skyfire here. Omega Prime and him stand on the same level. They can look each other eye to eye, and that's really cool. Weight wise, yeah, Omega Prime wins, and Jetfire still has a heavy backpack and very light legs. Like his legs are just hollow, and his backpack is so heavy. Oh, it's so heavy. I would really like to have one of those that doesn't have such a heavy backpack. One day I would kind of want to remove that backpack just so I can have a well distributed weight Skyfire. Now we're gonna move Omega Prime over here and bring out Death Source. Good old Death Source. Come on now. There it goes. Okay, so Death Source here. Does he stand always with your stupid cat? I don't know why mine just does not hold in place. Here we go. There it goes. Fun comparison time. I think it's great to compare these Haslabs because there it goes. There we go. Are you flat on your feet? Are we all good? Huh? Are we good in this neighborhood? We are. Excellent. Okay, comparing him side to side, and he stands shorter than Omega Prime. He does. Isn't that neat? And kind of spin them around just a bit, and we get that, yeah, your cannon arm and your sword arm. Lower your sword, man. There we are. All right. So, boom. Put you there, and rotate you around. Okay. Yeah. Omega Prime can look over the head of Death Source. Death Source has finally met his match. That freaking tiger chest. We're just gonna set it off to the side, or lion chest, whatever it is. So he is taller than Death Source. Is he heavier than Death Source? Let's see. He's heavier than Deathsaurus, without a doubt. Now we get to some fun stuff. So we have Superiorsaur over here. Let me put Deathsaurus back on his flight stand because Deathsaurus has these heavy wings. That means he likes to fall over a lot. There it goes. Yeah, be on your flight stand, Mr. Saurus. Mr. Deathsaurus. Where is Superiorsaur? Superiorsaur is superior. Menasor is inferior. Here's Superiorsaur. And Superiorsaur compared to Omega Prime, we finally have it. We finally have. Yeah, there we go. Now, this Haslab project stands about the same height as a combiner. Actually, taller than a combiner. Not by much, but definitely taller than a combiner. And their heads are about the same size. That's kind of neat. Their heads are about the same size. That's really cool. So there is the combiner shot. Now let's bring out a fun one. Let me just make sure I put this guy back where he belongs. Goes over here. And that's over there. Okay. Now you slide there because you're going to represent the very edge. Actually, and we slide you back a bit further. Okay. Let's bring out my largest transformer I own. And no, it's not Trypticon. Oh. Here he goes. Let's see how he compares to Black Xeric. Oh, Black Xeric. Da da da. Oh, Black Xeric. Da da da. Black Xeric got style. Da da da. Black Xeric gone wild. Black da da. Alright. There we go. And Omega Prime stands just below, or just about at waist level. Yeah, he stands. Omega Prime is as tall as one of Black Xeric's legs. That is just beastly. Black Xeric, you're insane. You're an insanely big transformer. You can look over Omega Prime. Now, let's set Black Xeric back down over here. He takes up a full. That's why Cream isn't here today, because Black Xeric takes up all of Cream's sleeping area. It's just how wildly, insanely big this transformer is. Okay, now for the final size comparison, and I have to put that one on the floor over here because he's also big. Oh. That is the perfect music to play for this moment. And we're not even going to put him fully on the table. You're just going to go about that high on the table. There you are. The Trypticon is definitely taller than Omega Prime. Oh. All right, so those were some fun little size comparisons to kind of give you an idea of how big this Prime is. This is not a short character. He is a beast of a transformer. And finally, just for the fact that I always love doing it, here is a Bumblebee compared. We've got wonderful little Bumblebee from Studio Series 86, and he stands up to the top of the knee, the very top of this little knee ramp on the side of Omega Prime. That is how much shorter he is than Omega Prime. And we, of course, can set him up, living up here with on one of Omega Prime's shoulders. There we go. You can just sit on this tire. Nah, he doesn't sit very well. But you know who does? If I can find him. He got a little confused. Come on. Come on, you. Alright. Sideburn, who's our only robots in disguise next to Towline, and I don't have Towline. So there's Sideburn, and Sideburn sits on his shoulder very, very well. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed making it, and I have enjoyed Omega Prime. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Blue Bolts and finish it out with a video on my final thoughts and feelings. This has been an adventure. This has been an experience, and this has definitely been fun. Until next Prime, bye bye for now.